Perfect, perfect, perfect.
My name is Vishal, and in this video we're going to be showing you a workout that you can do as part of your New Year's resolutions.
So today's workout going to be a full body workout.
And it will be good for guys and girls of all levels, and you should be able to do it at any gym.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Alright, so we're going to start with a warm-up, and most of the warm-up exercises are actually for the lower body because that's where people have most problems. And the first thing we're going to do are leg swings front to back. So on each side you want to do 10 reps, just forwards and back. And then same thing on the other side. Okay, after you've done forwards and back, then you want to do the same thing but side to side. So going all the way across. This is just to warm up the hips. And same thing on the other side. Alright, next thing we're going to do is Spider-Mans. So you want to start in this position on the floor. And then what we're going to do is bring one foot to the outside of the hand, and then the same side as this foot, reach down with the elbow, and then reach up to the ceiling. That's one, then we change sides, do the same thing on the other side. So elbow down, reach up, that's 2, 3. Once you get used to it, you can jump with the legs. 4.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay, that's pretty much it for the warm-up for this workout. So now we're going to go to the first exercise. So the first exercise we're going to do is squats. So squats are a full body exercise, but they're mainly targeting the legs. And they're great to do first thing in the workout when you're fresh because they use a lot of energy. So the version that Lot is going to do is with the bar. If you don't have a bar, don't worry, we can do other versions with dumbbell and body weight too. Alright, so the rep ranges that you can use for squats can vary, starting from something like 5 reps when you're going for strength training to something like 15 if you're going for more endurance training. So the key things when you're doing the squat, you want to make sure your feet are flat, your back is straight, your chest up, and you're making sure that you're coming all the way down. So by that, you want to make sure that the top of the knee is higher than the crease of the hip. So that way you know that you're coming below parallel, which is what you want. If you can't come that low at first, that's fine. Just make sure that you try and work on that, the more advanced you get. Okay, so another variation of the squat, if you don't have access to a bar or if you don't want to use a bar, is you can use a dumbbell. So the way that you do this, one version is called the goblet squat, where you hold it like this, keep it close to the chest, and then everything else is the same. So feet stay flat, get as low as you can, and then back up. So nice and controlled, try to get low as you can. Make sure the feet are flat, chest up, back straight, and up. And actually another version you can do, so if you hold the dumbbell this way, it limits the range of motion, but it changes the exercise a little bit in case you want some variety. Okay, and the last variation that we're going to show you today is if you don't have access to any equipment at all, is just a bodyweight squat. So same thing, just with no equipment. You can do it facing each other if you have a partner. So hands in front, all crossed over, and then all the way down and up. So same technique, feet flat, back straight, chest up. And if you have a partner, you can look in their eyes. The second exercise of this workout is the overhead press, or also known as the military press. This is an upper body push, so it's actually a shoulder and tricep exercise. There's different variations of this. The one I'm going to show you right now is with the barbell. So the way you do this, you want to hold it a bit wider than shoulder width, then have the bar on your collarbone, tuck your elbows underneath, stand up, make sure you keep your core tight, back straight, and then push up. As soon as it clears your head, you want to move underneath and finish the movement. So all the way down and up. So the bar should move in a straight line and you move underneath the bar as soon as it comes over your head. This is good if you want to go heavy, building that shoulder strength and shoulder size if you're into that kind of thing, if you're trying to get bigger shoulders. So that's the version with the barbell. If you don't have access to a bar, if you don't want to use a bar, there's also a version where you can use dumbbells and you can do this sitting down. So here Lotta's going to show you. You start with the dumbbells just above the shoulder. Keep the core tight, you want the back flat against the seat. Dumbbells come all the way down to the shoulder and then all the way up again. So for this one, you want to make sure that your arms are not fully straight at the top and they don't touch each other at the top. You want to keep them separate. So the benefit of using dumbbells instead of a bar is that you're training each arm separately. Whereas with the bar, you're just lifting one thing. So a bodyweight option for the shoulder press, in case you don't have any equipment at all, you could do push-ups. Now this is mainly a chest exercise, but it does hit the shoulders and the triceps too. So the way you can do this, you want your hands about shoulder width apart. Then this is the full version, all right? So you're not using your knees. So keeping your core tight, you want to keep your elbows about 45 degrees as you come down. Come all the way down to your chest touches the ground and then push back up again. All right? All the way down, touch, and then back up. But if you can't do it at first, then you can put your knees on the ground and then it's exactly the same thing. So all the way down and then back up. Doing it with the knees on the floor makes it easier. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is another leg exercise, and this one works each leg individually from each other. It does involve using some space for this variation, but we can show you another variation too. It's called the walking lunges with dumbbells. So with this one, you want to hold a pair of dumbbells and then take a big step forwards. Make sure the front foot's flat. Keep your body upright. Lower your body all the way to the ground so your back knee gently touches the ground, and then go straight into the next step. So when you're doing it, it should look like this. So big step forward, front foot flat. Make sure you stay upright. If you find it difficult to get your back knee to touch the ground, then you can just stay close to the ground without touching it. All right, so if you don't have that much space, then doing walking lunges isn't really a good idea. So another version you can do is like on the spot. You can go forwards or back. So the forward version, you stand in one place, take a big step, come down like you would do normally, but then push back to start position. And change legs, and then the same thing on the other side. So you basically stay in the same place, doing lunges. Instead of forward lunges, you can do the same thing but backwards. So you start in one position, take a big step back, come down, and then back to the start. And then just change legs like you would do with any other type of lunges. And of course, if you don't have access to any weights at all, you can do this with just body weight. Same thing, big step, push back, big step. Okay, the next exercise we're going to do is another upper body exercise, but this time it's a pull. So we're training the back. If you have access to a bar and you want to use a barbell, then you can do a barbell row. So for this, you want to make sure your feet are flat. I like to have my feet quite wide so that my knees don't get in the way. Make sure your back is straight, bar touching the legs at the beginning. Keep your body in the same position and pull all the way up and then all the way to the ground. This version is actually called the Pendlay row because it comes all the way to the ground each rep. But another version of doing this is to lift your body up a bit and not come all the way down. Make sure you squeeze your shoulders back at the top and get a full stretch at the bottom. If you don't want to use a bar but you have dumbbells, you can also do dumbbell rows, which work the same muscles. You can do these one arm at a time, which is a good thing sometimes. You support your body with one hand and you lift the weight with the other. And really focus on squeezing the shoulder at the top. So because of this exercise uses one arm at a time, you do need to do one arm switch and do the same thing with the other side. Okay, if you don't have access to any equipment and you want to do some body weight back exercises, then nothing quite beats the pull-ups. Now, these are quite hard to do, but once you do them, they're a really great exercise. So you want to make sure when you're doing pull-ups, your hands are shoulder width apart, and then lift yourself up. Try to get your chin above the bar, chest up, shoulders back. Now the thing with pull-ups is you always want to start all the way down. You shouldn't ever do this. Always start at full stretch, because that way you work the muscles as much as you can. Okay, if you can't quite do pull-ups, then one way that you can do them assisted is by using a band. Now bands make it easier because they help lift your body up. Alright, so the way you do it is exactly the same as you would do with normal pull-ups, except you have one foot in the band. So as you can see, the band is stretched at the bottom, and then it helps lift her up at the top. And then what you can do is, if you have different bands, is you start with the strongest one first. When that gets easy, you use a lighter one and a lighter one until you don't need them anymore. Stretch at the bottom, and then chest up, squeeze your shoulders back at the top. That way you're getting a full range of motion and a full contraction. Okay, the next exercise we're going to do is a core exercise, and this version is probably the hardest one. It's called the hanging leg raise, and you do need a bar for this, so you want to hang to start off with, and then your goal is to get your feet to touch the bar, or get as close to it as you can. So you want to hang, get your feet all the way to the bar at the top. Okay, a variation of this exercise, if you can't quite do them with your legs straight to touch the bar, is a hanging knee raise. Okay, so knee tuck. And this is the same thing, except you just want to try and get your knees as close to your chest as you can. It works the same muscles, it works in the same way, just a little bit easier. Okay, an easier variation of this exercise is called the reverse crunch. You can do this on the floor, which makes it good if you don't have access to a bar. So to do this one, you need to lie on the floor and hold something that doesn't move. Start off with your legs completely bent. And now the goal is to get your knees as close to your forehead as you can. So you want to think that you're curling up into a ball. Curl into a ball, and then slowly come down. So this works in a similar way because you're getting your hips to tilt forwards.
Perfect, 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 perfect.
Alright guys, so that's the workout for your New Year's resolutions, and those are the 5 exercises that we would recommend you do in them. So we have the squat, we have the shoulder press, we have pull-ups, lunges, and hanging leg raises.
So this exercise I always do, and I think it's very important.
And you can adjust how you do them depending on your needs. So if you're going more for strength, then you can use heavier weights and lower the reps. So maybe for squats, you can go for 5 reps and use a weight that you can do for that much. But if you're going more for cardio, then you can lower the weight right down, maybe just do body weight and go for really high reps. So for this year, after you watch this video, hopefully you feel like working out. But if you don't feel like doing it on your own, then you're always welcome to come down to the lab. We have personal training, group classes, and loads of stuff. And she's always here, I'm always here. And lastly, from both of us, Happy New Year!